Let's go.
What up, people? Welcome to the Facts
And Feelings.
Happy Hour. I am Fire Angelou.
And I'm your host, Too Big Meech. Not the little one. What's happening?
That's it. I realized that I was yelling. I don't know. I came in so hot. And if I keep the volume, I'm gonna be hoarse by the end of the episode. So I've calmed myself down. Okay. But anyway, thank y'all so much for listening. You know, we're so excited as we're growing and y'all are growing with us. We want to start off by telling y'all where y'all can find us and where you can tell a friend to find us. Because if you here, you already know where to find us. But we are on YouTube, we on Spotify, we on Apple Podcasts. And then we also got an Instagram, which is facts.feelings.pod on Instagram. And that is also our email address. Where can they find you on social media? Big Meech.
Everywhere you do your thing at Meechy Davis, Metchie Davis. Mm-hmm. Where can they find you?
On Instagram and Twitter, at Fire Angelou, FIYAANGELOU. I want to start a Discord.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
Yeah, Discord?
Yeah, I'm not actively engaged, but because there are so many people that text me with their commentary about the show, and I think people do that with you too, then they should just commingle and we just have a space.
Okay. I can also do that in the comments.
Say it again.
They can also do that in the comments.
On YouTube, right? And then that always marks the timestamp. So, you know, there are many ways that y'all can communicate with us. We also want to start off by going over some of the reviews. I feel like I've been begging and fucking pleading for y'all to write a review. And y'all have fucking showed up and showed out. So I'm just going to read a few. The first one says, Dr. Fire has been a longtime podcast favorite of mine. Adding Meechy to the mix has been magical. Magic. I laugh and learn each episode, and it makes my day when I notice that a new episode has been uploaded. Come on, man. This is like, love. Oh, that's love. That's my social media best friend. Shout out to you, Jen. Let's see what else we got. One of the reviews says, listening to Meechy and Fire feels like kicking back on the front porch, just talking shit with my play cousin, so effortlessly funny, and doses of let me blow your mind real quick facts. It's a part of my weekly self-care now. So good.
I love that.
I just read it for the first time. I'm making somebody feel good for their
making somebody feel like home, because that's what that sound like to me. Y'all feel like home. That's a vibe.
I like that. I like that. So if you haven't written a review, just please go ahead and do that. And maybe, you know, yours will get read out loud. You know, maybe you'll have your moment in the spotlight. And so you ready to get going with the show?
Let's get it. Why not?
Okay. Weekly recap. How you been? What's going on with you?
What just happened? Labor Day done went by. Ain't too much of that. Ain't make no noise. Honestly, it was a really chill week for me. Hot dogs. I did my best to refrain from doing that thing I do, the extravagant meals. I was like, man, I'm not doing that. Nothing. And then they hit me like, can you at least throw some dogs on? I could do the dogs. I did some dogs, and that was it. And then it was cool. We just kicked it by the pool, you know.
Did you must got a gas grill.
Yeah, wow.
Cause I know you ain't put no charcoal on and light them up.
I got a gas. I do. We cooked them there, and by the pool, you know, they had the gas. You know, by the complexes and stuff. So I just threw them on there. But yeah, you know, dog, I'm all right with a dog. You can burn it either way. I don't have to have no charcoal on the dog.
Hey, let me tell you something. I'm ready to get done with this episode right now because I got a dog waiting on me. Chili Slaw Dog. Chili Slaw Dog. I'm a
now for our northern listeners, I know y'all are sauerkraut people, but if you anywhere below that Mason-Dixon, a slaw is unnecessary. I love me a chili dog. You hear me? If chili is available, I'm here for. I'm okay.
Guess what? You know I made this chili myself. You know I made it myself. Ooh. I made it myself. I made the coleslaw myself too.
Come on, give me a.
Damn,
I need that.
Yeah, we didn't do much either. My wife is sick. And I thought it was kind of the cooties, like, because COVID is back.
Right.
But it just seems like she just has like a regular sinus sickness kind of thing. But anyway, I've been trying to nurse her back to health. And so yesterday I literally made red curry with some mahi and called it a day.
I love a cut. I like a yellow curry.
I really want a yellow curry, but I ain't have no curry.
And pain gang curry.
Yeah, I had the red curry paste.
I got you.
I just put some red bell peppers and yellow bell, you know.
Yeah. I got you. Sounds like a fun.
Pretty light work, nothing crazy. I think we're ready to dive on into this show. I'm excited about this episode.
Let's go. Be good on.
All right, you go.
I put on. I got to put on. Now, since we have such good reviews, I feel like the people need to know about what makes us special. And I recently just found out what makes our good co-host very special, very Rain Man-like. And if y'all didn't know, Cousin Fire can do math in our mind.
Huh? Tell the people how you describe it.
Do y'all know that one time I just randomly, asked my good friend, and we're gonna do it on here in real time. Friend, what I say? What's 9 times 7?
63.
Turn to
me. Real reaction.
Me. Wait a minute. Did you talk about said it fast? 63 ain't me. Now I got a little trick I can do on my 9s, and that's why I was with her.
You don't know that 9 times
you don't know that 9 table, so I knew to hit him with the 63. But I have to hold my hand down at the bottom. She had no hand. She did it with no hand. Yeah. That's why I just threw a couple more out there. The friend, not too crazy. Friend, what's 6 times 8?
48.
And see, I had ran this back because I know it's probably like, oh, y'all, it's just these regular.
But that's how I feel. That's how I feel. I'm thinking we all can do this.
And if the funny thing is that it's gonna sound like we should to the other people like you that can do it. It's gonna feel like, oh my God, these are literally like the basic times tables that we all would ever that bitch, and that's fine. But bitch, don't sit on here and act like you knew to spit that out real quick, because we can also do what's 12 times 5?
12 times 5 is 60.
We knew that one because that's on the clock. What's 12 times 7?
12 times 7 is 84.
Let me tell you something, because quit playing with me. I know my 10s.
Yeah.
I know my 11s, and we all know your 11s, because 7 times 11 gonna be 7. It's 7. 88, 99, and so forth. I know my 5s.
My favorites, like legit, when we were talking about this, when Michi had the biggest reaction, and I'm thinking, what is wrong with you? But then I remembered that legit in 4th grade, my teacher said, they had like an ice cream party. And the higher you could go in your times tables, the more toppings you can get. So if you knew, your 1s and your 2s, that give you the bowl. If you know your 3s and your 4s, they give you the scoop. And then if you know your 5s and 6s, and anyway, if you could get all the way up to the 12s, now you up there with a cherry, little whipped cream sprinkle.
Listen, I probably ain't get nothing but a scoop and a drizzle. I'm gonna get my cone. I'm gonna get the scoops and the drizzle.
You don't know nothing about me. I love ice cream. Okay, I just stopped. I was having a ish day, and I stopped to get myself a wonderful ice cream treat that I need to post on Instagram. I forgot. But anyway, and then also too, I'm just good with quick math. I'm
just good with real quick math. Look, 4 times 7.
I'm not comfortable bragging about this because I really feel like we can all do it.
They're gonna crack up. What's 4 times 7?
4 times 7, 28.
Listen, but you know how I get there? That's fine. 20, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cool. 28.
When we used to do in school around the world, and you stand up to the person and then you flip the card over, I was sitting everybody down, right?
Listen,
like everybody. It's fun.
You know who I was? Here she go. Here she go. All right, get Shell a cherry. Because you know what I mean? And I just think that is a beautiful thing. And we can go higher. Frank could do a little bit of algebra. Beyonce didn't even know much about algebra. But my friend do. Our good cousin.
The way that I just got excited that you was about to give me a function to solve.
I know you did.
I
You thought I
used
was
to
gonna
love
run you.
me a
Come on with a 3x
9x.
minus 5. I'm out of it. Because then, I have to, let me tell you something. I can do the function. Still, I get rowdy in the function. But
Ooh.
baby, it's gonna come to that pyramid. You hear me? I'm doing the function. The minus and minus and plus and this until I get to that one. It ain't gonna be no in my head, baby. I don't
Ooh.
care what it is.
A quadratic equation. That was good times. That's when life was simple.
Life was simple.
You could just have so much, but just solve for X. Solve for X and Y. Then what? Go ahead and throw an ABC in there. Just have a good time, Pythagorean. That was when math was fun.
I don't know if it ever was, friend, but I appreciate you.
I promise on everything. I want to have another game night at my house, and I really want to hand out multiplication sheets. And then if you finish fast, it's like, you ever been to a drunken spelling bee?
Mm-hmm.
It'll be like a drunken math quiz.
It won't, but you know what's crazy? Nobody's coming. That's the wild part. So just make sure you don't put that on the flyer. Your friend, you're gonna be hurting. Niggas is not showing up to that. And I want to take this time. To tell Miss Maxwell, Miss Thomas, Mr. Laney. I think that covers algebra, that covers just the basic math, I think, from elementary school, and that covers trig too. Mr. Laney was my trig teacher, and I just want to go on record to say fuck y'all, because they were very passionate. They were so passionate. All of them was like, you're gonna have to do this. You're not gonna have a calculator on you all the time. I'll be damned.
Damn.
I'll be damned.
Showed you.
Oh, you're gonna have to figure out what 7% of. I don't have to figure out a motherfucking thing. You hear me? Siri got me covered. That calculator times point. I can get you there.
We all got a calculator. You're right. They did say it wouldn't be available, and we all have not. But now I think about it, my fundamentals of math, they were taught by Black women. Shout out to Miss Antonio, and shout out to Miss Anderson.
Go ahead.
Middle school, high school, I think, math. There was another tall Black woman. Can't remember her name, but maybe that's it. Maybe
I had a Black woman for algebra, so that's I'm good. I'm good on my equations. I'm good on that. Love that. But that long division, Miss Maxwell, fuck you. Square root and what? So that's that. We gonna keep it moving. My real I wanted y'all to know that about our good friend, because y'all need to know fun facts about us. My fun fact is gonna be a popcorn reading. Don't give me pause. Okay? It don't give me pause, baby. I can read it forwards and backwards. If it's a 12-syllable word, it's not gonna make me nervous. I've been seeing here recently in the media folks struggling with their words, and it's
so many of their
words. Many of y'all favorite celebrities cannot read, and that is disturbing, but that ain't even it.
So, and a lot of y'all are, I could tell, okay, because I know we gotta move forward. But you know what I love when I could tell when somebody is a reader and they don't have anyone to have that conversation with in real life. Right? So it's like they're reading things, and when you hear them say the word in conversation, it's like, oh, the people you talk to on a day-to-day basis don't use these words. So you don't know how to say it. And I can't really give you an example. Like, it might be like deluge. And that's how you would say it conversationally. But in the book, who knows how you're hearing it in your mind? And I'm like, so that tells me usually you're the smartest person in your friend group. When you say words that are indicative of an expansive vocabulary, but you just don't know how to pronounce them, that means you're well-read, not well-versed. Put it on a shirt.
Say it. Ooh, be well read and real versed. All right. That's all right. It's all right.
It hit me. It just came out. I ain't playing it.
It's a proverb. That's going on another t-shirt. We got some t-shirts to get out. That's 2 so far.
Thanks.
All right. All right. For the real put on. Ozempic. Sweeping the folks, sweeping the culture, and by the culture, I don't mean the Black culture. I just mean the culture in general.
What?
It is new weight loss craze tactic. It is a diabetes medication. That is proven. It's getting some great results. So it's not making. I remember one time. I don't know if y'all remember when Fen came out. You remember Fen?
That correct?
Yeah, we can call it that.
With the PH Fen.
Fen.
It was like speed.
And
like
everybody's aunties and great aunties was on it, and they got real crackish looking. They was looking bad, and it was like, she on that stuff. I think she on that fen, and it was bad. And because this is just a regular diabetes medication, the side effects aren't bad at all. The people is on it. The people is on it. The celebrities are on it. They own it. They own it hard. The celebrities are on it. The regular folks are on it. They're getting the results they like, and that's the new thing.
Listen, so I'm glad that you said that, because the theme that I kind of had circling around in my head for tonight's or this week's episode is around like appearance, vanity, and just, how people are taking it. But I made a TikTok about people using these diabetes medicines. And I was joking, right? But do you know people were coming to those comments trying to eat me up? And they were like, you don't know. It's not all, because I said, y'all keep using all these people's Mounjaro, Ozempic, and all this stuff. And people who have diabetes can't get their fucking medicine because y'all want to lose a few pounds for the summer. And so I was joking, right? Like I was like, and then because the same thing came up for me with Adderall, right? Like I got to go through so many hoops to get my Adderall because so many people out here listening to these rappers talking about
popping it.
And so I'm like, man, but I'm pre-diabetic, right? And it's just like, it's one of those things that it runs consistently in my family. Like my brother is on Ozempic for real. Like, and so when I went to go, I told my doctor that I was going to be trying to have a baby soon.
See if he'll let me hold a shot of 3.
I told my doctor that I was trying to have a baby soon, that I wanted to lose some weight, and she agreed that I needed to lose some weight before, you pack on baby weight. And so then she was like, but she said, your numbers for diabetes are getting higher and higher. She said, we can start you on, a medicine that can help. And she's like, and it increases fertility. She was like, that's one of the, co-effects. It's not one of the main things, but it can increase fertility and it can help you lose weight. And we could get your, your A1C together. And I was like, okay. And so it was, what she was going to give me was not Mounjaro, but it started with a W, but they all kind of are similar.
Right.
And so then she was like, but in order to get you Mounjaro, we need to start you on metformin. And I was like, to me, that was the kiss of death, because literally everybody in my family, aunties and stuff, have been on metformin. And I just know how that shit make your fart smell. And I'm like, I don't want that. But for insurance purposes, they couldn't start me with the big thing without giving me the smaller thing first. And so I started the metformin, and I did lose about 7 pounds. But it was also because while I was on the metformin, I started making dietary changes because I did not want to be on metformin. But she was like, so are you ready for Mounjaro? She was like, because you might lose another 15 pounds. And I was like, and I was like, what's my A1C looking like? And she was like, significantly better. I said, I don't want to be on none of this shit. Get it out of here. But I do know plenty of people. We saw a celebrity recently that you was like, she must be on that Ozempic. And I was like, or crack. And I'm leaning towards crack. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, that was a little different situation, because I ain't gonna hold you. The Ozempic, it doesn't have a the knowing that someone's on it is less of a look and more of a timeline, right? Like we just saw you how quick it happens, and it's like, oh, you definitely on it, because it definitely happens rapidly and it doesn't look bad or anything. And so I also, for that celebrity, will be leaning towards crack also, because it was given a different look. It was a timeline thing, but it was also a girl, if you own it, come up off of it. It's you bad.
We praying.
But I just I agree. I don't know if it's been used, but like we have the actual numbers or the actual statistics yet that proves that diabetics are unable to get their medication. I don't know if that's a thing just yet. I can see that, it trending in that way, or just being expensive to get.
But I think they just started making more of it. Like they're not even letting it get on the shortage, because
I agree.
So many doctors are like, not even like on the sidebar, but so many doctors are like legit pushing it as a weight loss thing.
Yeah, because you can. Like you can go, you can get it as a weight loss, and you just have to pay out of pocket more if you don't have that history of diabetes in your charts, in your records. And so that's just my put on. If you're struggling with weight loss, like and you're super heavy, maybe consider it. If you have, I recommend, please try to take your ass to the gym. Do a little something.
Do something to partner with it.
Do something to partner with it. Don't rely on that alone.
Because legit, the moment you stop, if you still have those negative eating habits or bad eating habits and sedentary lifestyle, the moment you stop taking Ozempic, that weight gonna come right back.
But I am
get it right back.
Hey. But I would rather 500 Black women lean towards Ozempic than get under another knife. If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm just tired of the BBLs. I'm tired of the lipos. It's dangerous as hell. And Ozempic has its side effects. Like if you take it with alcohol, doing the shit you ain't supposed to do, but it's just less risky. It's not invasive at all.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it seems like because of the culture and the way that it goes, we just make it seem, like lipo and BBLs are just a thing. And it's a crazy because like you said, it's one of those things where everything can't be cheap. You know what I mean? So it's just like, if you need a certain amount of money, if you're going to go get lipo,
I was going to say,
the thousands, the tens of thousands of dollars, like somebody being like, oh, they got lipo and said, you can get it for $8. That's not the kind you want. That's not it. And if you can't afford it, just don't. And it's just like, but unfortunately, that's the time we live in. And I would rather this skyrocket than, if it will decrease the chances of girls getting lipo and BBLs and tummy tucks and all that good shit, because it's dangerous.
Which is perfect segue into my put on, right? So
all right, let's get it.
Let's just have like a conversation. Like I said, I've been really thinking about appearance, and I'll talk more about why, but like appearance and really kind of peeping society's tiptoe and foray into like vanity and like just like a hyper consciousness around like appearance. And so like you mentioned the aunties in the early 90s and 80s, like on FinFin and stuff like that. But, and then now you were talking about like the BBLs and a different like body augmentation. If money wasn't an issue for you, right? If money wasn't a factor, is there anything you would change or augment on your body surgically? Anything? Maybe not even surgically, like more like something permanent. Because I was thinking, like, I don't want to say what I was about to say because I don't want you to think I think a way about what you commented on.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you just speak. But is there anything you would change about your body? And then like money isn't an issue. Like it's not a factor.
My body, probably
or
not.
Appearance.
Yeah, I'll probably go get me. I don't have a lot of eyebrows.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what
I
was
don't
gonna
have
say.
You have a problem with you sharing that? Now I draw them like I'm bad.
Yeah, they look nice right now.
I'm bad, baby. I get you one of these. But if I wipe it off, it ain't really a lot I'm working with. God didn't do me that way. My mama old funk is thinking that she did it.
Your mama don't have no eyebrows?
No, she don't. And it ain't Whoopi Goldberg don't have none. But it's definitely still not giving, that thickness. Yes, I would go get me some. I thought about it. But, the folks told me it don't look too good with the surgery. It don't always come out good. So I might just microblade.
But sometimes I know a lot of people that have had it done and it looks very nice.
The surgery or the microblading? Because it's two different things.
Surgery for eyebrows. That's what you're saying?
Surgery is like a hair transplant. Like they take hair from the back of your head, put it on your eyebrow.
I'm talking about the micro.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting me some. I'll let y'all know if I do it. I'm thinking about getting me some. Somebody around Charlotte might do. I might get that. That ain't even a thing.
Yeah.
It ain't expensive like it used to be.
How
you can
much
get
is it?
I think like $200-$300 now. It used to be like $8, $9, $12.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was gonna say I might try to get that for my wife for Christmas because she wanted.
Yeah, it's cheap, baby. You can, and that's like good people that have been doing it forever have come down to about $300. I'm seeing somebody doing it for one summer. I ain't gonna go to her.
Nope,
I'm not gonna go to again. Some stuff you just got to pay for. You got to pay for. I'm gonna go ahead and pay $300-$400 for mine.
Yeah, so you say eyebrows.
I say eyebrows. I don't want lashes either, but I ain't gonna get them put in.
If I had, so number one, I love the way I look with lashes. I really want to learn how to put, how to put lashes on you. So I don't know how to do none of it.
I'll teach you, friend.
We've tried, but anyway, I just really want to just go to the people where you just pay a couple $100 and then they can stay on for a minute. But then people start talking about how
you don't want that.
You mess up your regular eyebrows, but
it will.
I really want to learn how to do that. Anyway, I would, if money wasn't a factor, if I'm honest, like I don't like my feet. And
what your shit look like? You hammer toed out or what you got?
We gotta talk about it, but they need some work. I ain't gonna be,
Okay.
Could make some money off my feet, but in the other direction, not
Damn.
Know,
Okay.
yeah.
Not the this so sexy. It's just
Yeah,
like, damn,
yeah.
I want to
I
see
got
that shit.
flat feet, and you can imagine,
Just
what that does. Okay. That's
okay.
what
All right, go
my
ahead.
wife constantly says, like, she's like, if I just, she put my feet together and it looked like this, and she was like, I can't tell the right from the left. It just looked
damn, you just got the Flintstone. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And I'll probably do a little, I was gonna say a fat transfer, but I'm busty and assy. So I think they could just take some away.
Just take it away. Yeah, baby. You don't have to put it nothing else. Nowhere. Because where they putting it? The fuck you wanted the back of your
away. Yeah, they could take some away. But when I think about that, that's not something like, am I like watching my mom? And I was just thinking about this earlier. My mom was never like super concerned about like body and appearance. Like dieting wasn't something that she talked about. So I grew up thinking at some point, I'm going to look like my aunts and like my mom, which are like the Black women that you see working at a call center. You know what I mean? Like just regular looking Black women. But as I'm having conversations with my friends and seeing how they're getting into our aging, like I'm 37, my friends are 37 to 40. As they're getting into that, they're like, I don't want to look like that. And I'm like, what was wrong with looking like Miss Farmer down at the call center? What's going on? And they're like, And I'm like, has social media done this to us? I want to take a little journey into our body and to our bodies. We answered one question already. Would you change anything? How has, if at all, social media influenced your view of your body and your concepts of body image?
Right. So me personally, and again, we're talking about body, we're just talking about image altogether. I'm actually okay, like with my body. I do work out. I am body conscious, just because, it affects how your clothes fit, all that good stuff. I will say I'm hesitant. I'm on here now without none. I'm hesitant to hop on things without a brow or a lash on. One or the other have to happen.
But do you think that like on social media, how often would you say that you feel compelled to put like a filter
filter's gonna happen. And social media has affected it. It started with Snapchat. Not every time. No. But I'm gonna, if I have to throw a percentage on there, if I'm not together, one or the other. If I have already put on lashes or I got, like a little something done up, then I don't have to use a filter. If I'm probably never on social media giving it up, raw faced it. So one of the two is happening. There's probably, I'm going to say 10%.
It's definitely like when you build and stuff, like when you kind of far away.
Yeah, far away building stuff. I'm never giving you that auntie on Facebook close up like this. If I'm just looking right, like, come on, I'm almost always like, bitch, throw a filter on that, because you giving real looks. There's a lot of regularness going on. Middle of the night, like if I want to throw a video and I got my bonnet on, because it's a lot. I got my bonnet on. Now I'm in the bed.
And
like
you got your moo-moo.
I got my moo-moo on. It's like, okay, bitch, what you trying to do? You trying to be funny a little bit, or you really trying to serve Miss Seeley in this bitch? Get him motherfucking something. Throw a lash, throw a brow.
And you want, like, outside of social media, you don't think you'd be thinking like that?
When you say outside of social media, what do you mean? Because I'm not really recording anything else.
Well, like, I guess when you go out with friends, do you have to put on makeup and beat your face?
Nah. Nah, not necessarily. When you say out with friends, if I'm going out, I'm putting my stuff together. I'm gonna put some shit on. I'm not just being outside looking like any fucking thing. Running
like
to the
a cute outfit. Like the outfits you would wear, you put on your motherfucking hat and shit. And
yeah. I can get out. Yeah.
But not without makeup.
I can.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Without makeup, I'll do a little something.
Yeah.
But I'm still conscious of what I'm doing. For instance, if I'm not gonna put on makeup, I may put on some glasses. You know what I mean? To kind of, because it serves as a function. Most of the glasses I'm gonna have on ain't gonna be no little skinny shit, so it may give me a little eyebrow coverage situation, and I don't need a lash. You see what I'm doing there?
Yeah,
I'm being a little that's a little vulnerable. I see what I'm doing.
Like my thing with social media, because I'm so used to seeing everybody's faces like so like purified and crazy, like I don't post my face for that reason, because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it because to me it still feels inauthentic. And because I don't want to play into it, when I do post a picture that has a filter, I'm still trying to mask it like it don't have a filter, or I just don't like I feel like, ugh,
yeah.
like, why am I
so
doing
crazy
this?
because like, and it's not even a situation of where like, I can't speak for other people, but I don't feel like ugly or anything. Bitch, I feel fine, if I'm being perfectly honest. But it's just something about that. I don't know. It just I feel like it don't even be giving it up. I'd be like, bitch, I feel like I don't look like right now how
Because
I'm
you
giving
have
this
really
up.
great skin.
Right. But right now I'm giving this up. If I was to put this on Instagram, I just feel like and I have heard that. I've heard that Instagram in an effort to make you use the filters just uglifies you a little bit. You ain't heard that? Yeah, I've heard like just social media in general. And that started with Snapchat.
And you just put me on. I have not heard that.
It started with Snapchat. I can't speak for Instagram, but I know for a fact that Snapchat was doing just like a small alteration to where it just looked like, oh, let me put a filter on it so they could promote you using the filters. So almost just like a preset,
almost like overexposing, like
the zero setting was like an overexposure, or like needed some like just kind of color and light correction to make you and promote you to use a filter. So you again, like I said, I'm looking at myself now and I'm like, dang, she's cute, she's giving it. I picked up Snapchat, it's looking like, damn, bitch, you got a little like what's going? And I don't. Crazy. Skin is great. Meanwhile, I'm looking in the filter. It's like, bitch, it's giving ugly. Not even ugly. It's never giving.
Like when I think about makeup, they're like, if me and my wife are going out, I don't feel the need to wear makeup, right? Because I'm like, I'm with the person that loves me. I'm gonna look nice, but I'm not putting makeup. But there's one particular group of friends that when I go out with them, I put on makeup. And like, again, this is just being very honest.
Yeah, we're gonna do that
on this podcast. I just because I see them as like they bad.
Right.
And I know they give it up in a different way than I do. And I don't never want nobody to be like, God dang, like they bad, but who that one? You know what I mean? Like I don't want that. And so it's like,
you won't get that.
Well, thank you. But I was out with my line sister the other day, two of my line sisters, and they dressed up more than I did. So we walked down the street and the two of them walked by and the man was like, God damn, y'all are just beautiful. And then here I come dragging slew foot behind and they were like, how you doing, ma'am? And I was like,
yo, you gotta chill.
I know what I look like today. You know what I mean? But anyway, so, okay. So let me get to another question. So, okay. When you are thinking about like, in terms of your relationship to food, like we both love food. And we think about, are there anything, I know this answer because we both have talked about it before, but when you think about your relationship to food, are there days where you eat something, you'd be like, God damn, you are a big pig. You know, you shouldn't have ate that shit.
Yeah.
But is that a regular occurrence, or is it like when you feel like you go too far, when you pig out?
Just when I pig out. So again, I try to be like, I don't really eat terribly during the week. When this usually happens, which is when most people who try to be food conscious happens, is on my cheat days. Gotcha. Or I have a cheat day and then I go far and I have another one the next day. And they'd be like, look at you, your big nasty ass. And you set your ass up there and you ate that, or I'll buy a pizza or something. And obviously it's just me, you know what I mean? Like in my house. And so I don't know why, but outside of Pizza Hut, like nobody's giving that personal pain energy. And so if I'm going to like an actual, I like good pizza. So if I'm going to an Italian pizza spot, I got to get a small pizza and it's just me. I want to do the best I can to eat 2 slices. I'll probably go half full. And when I do, on the third slice, I'm probably like, now you need to make sure this is your last slice. And then I sit back and I look and I'm like, where do you
think that voice is coming from?
Listen, the pie's uneven.
I'd be like, what you gonna do with that one slice?
You're gonna do that one slice. It ain't even a perfect half. Go ahead and eat it. And then I eat it. And I don't even enjoy me. You're not even enjoying this. You just sitting here me. I know it. I'm big, ain't I? Yeah, you big bitch ass. I know it. Then I done, boom, ate a half a pizza of me. Let me drink some water. That's erase it.
Water feel like it do fix it.
Erase it.
Do feel like it fix it.
Erase it.
One of the things I hate, and it is the worst feeling in the world. You at a restaurant, everybody ordered they dishes, they meals. Your food come, meaning my food come, and somebody say, dang, Michelle, ain't no way you're gonna be able to finish that. That is too much. And I'm thinking to myself, I absolutely can finish this. And sometimes I'd be like, girl, you tripping. I'm about to eat this whole shit. Or you out with people and then they leaving with to-go boxes and they be like, ooh, I don't see how you can eat that much because I would just be so full. I hate that feeling because I'm gonna eat that much.
I'm gonna say this. I only have that little gluttonous or whatever voice because I don't typically, because again, like I said, both you and I cook and we eat well. I usually feel that way with takeout, which is why I mentioned pizza. Yep. I almost never, I don't give it. If I'm at a restaurant, baby, because when I go out to eat, I go out to eat. I'm eating. So I don't give a fuck what you thought. And I'm going to clean that bitch. My first date I ever went on, excuse me, my first like college, like boyfriend date. I'll never forget it. We went out to eat and he was like, I remember, we in college. So we went to, like Ruby Tuesdays or something. And I remember I liked him a lot. He was adorable. And I was like, all right, y'all. Like, they was like, I was like, what I'm supposed to do, what I'm supposed to get. I was hungry. I didn't eat before. And it was like, I was like, I know technically I'm probably supposed to get like a salad, just listening to the hustle. This is before social media. And I was like, let me get, I was like, okay, I'll get a salad or maybe something like a chicken breast or whatever. And we also in college. So I'm just like, obviously, he don't have a lot of money. I don't want to, this is before. This is before City Girls time. We're in college. Like, come on. I'm not about to order a $40 something on here. And so he had made a joke too, which is I probably was like his girl in the mind because he was like, what you want to do? You want to go to cook? Let's just hang in the room and eat cookout. And I was like, hell yeah. Like, I'm cool with that. Cookout is a restaurant for those of you who don't know North Carolina. Yeah. And so that was, I guess, like a test to see if I would be cool with that or be a city girl, but I wasn't. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm cool with that. And so he was like, nah, like we're gonna go eat. And I'm here and my stomach is growling. So I was like, I'm just gonna get a salad. And he was like, a salad. And mind you, he's seen me around campus. He know who I am. So he was just like, you sure? He was like, man, you don't want no salad. Order what you want. And I was like, you sure? And he was just like, yeah. And I was like, fuck it. I ordered half a
double cheeseburger.
Half a rack of ribs. I cleared them bitches. You hear me? Wow, boom, boom. He was like, God damn, cracking up me. If you don't want to talk to me after this, that's fine. I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat these ribs and I'm gonna eat this baked potato, big dog. I cleared that bitch. I called my daddy because he was the one who told me, don't you take your ass in there and get no shit like no ribs. And he was cracking up because he was like, honestly, me, get what you want. If the nigga don't like you for who you is, fuck him. And he was just like, yeah. Wow. It's gonna be me and you for long. Let me tell you something, baby. I did get half. I will say I get a whole rack. Half a rack of ribs.
Rack would be egregious. But
8 bones.
You get a rack of ribs, who am I to judge? You do you.
8 bones clear. Baked potato clear. Little broccoli on the side left.
Okay. All right. This is my last question. Oh, did I answer that one?
No, you didn't. So go ahead.
What was it?
Well, you did. You said being at a restaurant makes like that kind of food.
Yeah. So like basically when you think about like that type of the judgments that we put on food, like people call that like disordered eating, right? It's not like a bulimic kind of anorexia, but it's in the neighborhood of nothing you're eating should make you feel superior to other people or inferior, or like, if you're eating something and afterwards you're like, you a big tub fat bitch.
And the new name they came up with it on social media, low vibrational. Remember? Low vibrational plates. High vibration.
I was just like, girl, just get
low vibration is bad. It's like you said, ribs, burgers, anything higher vibration plate would be something like salmon or a salad.
Oh, girl.
I live in the gutter, baby. Take me down.
Listen. So I just wanted to like just kind of warm up, with thinking about that, kind of thinking about where do our attitudes around food, around body size. Can I say something that I have only shared in close quarters with people before?
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of people, it's funny because it's ridiculous, but also if I dig deeper, there's an underlying issue here. So I just want to say, growing up, the family members that I have lost so far have died due to causes of obesity, like morbid obesity, which leads to congestive heart failure, stroke. Like my granddad died when he was 47, right, of a massive heart attack. But so I say that to say I have a lot of compassion. What I think is compassion for people that are very overweight, people who are of a larger size. So if I dig deeper now, I think there's some pity in there. And this is why this is going to come up. Because it was one time I was in high school. This is the first time that it happened. I used to not like to watch big people eat by themselves. Like, it made me sad. But I used to not watch big people eat at all, bigger people eat at all, because I was worried about the thoughts that would come to my mind. And then I definitely didn't like to see bigger people eat by themselves. And one time I got out of school, I worked at Cumberland Mall here in Atlanta, or in whatever. And I was sitting in the food court eating my Chick-fil-A before I went to work. And I saw a girl who was bigger, she was a bigger girl, a little bit older than me. Let's say if I was like 16, she was probably like 19, eating by herself in the food court. She was fine. You see, I looked at her and started crying.
Oh, you ain't shit.
I cried. And I only thought about this because it came up again. I was at Chick-fil-A recently, like last weekend, and I walked in there to get my food, and I saw this girl sitting there eating by herself, and it was just the timing of her putting the food in her mouth, and I got so sad. I was like, what? And I used to think it was compassion, but now I'm thinking, I'm putting all this shit on her, like, I bet she eating because she's sad and she ain't got no friends and she's so lonely.
Meanwhile, she probably like, bitch, the fuck you looking at? You crying?
I swear, I have maybe 3 line sisters that are like bigger women, and the most I don't want to say like, I don't want to jump to, they be fucking and like as if they can't, because I think the way we even talk about bigger people is ridiculous. Right. People like, you're so brave.
For a big girl.
Like, yeah, people be saying like, when she wear the shit that she put that shit on, people be like, wow, I wish I had your courage. And she'd be like, bitch, what the fuck? Like, what you mean? And she helped me to unlearn. But this stuff is not even stuff I'm doing intentionally. So I just want to talk about that. And it's going to be like a thing that's going to come up in other parts of the episode. But that's kind of our warm up, just to we putting y'all on to where we going. All right. I don't know why I used to cry. I do know why.
That's very sad. And I'm actually completely opposite. I watch My 600-Pound Life, and it is probably one of the funnier shows. And I have an opposite. Well, where you say that you observe, I guess, for pity, I have almost I ain't gonna say that it's not an obsession. I wouldn't say that. But my thing, I guess, with watching big people eat, the bigger you are, like the bigger you grow, people's mouths don't grow, right? And so just roll with me. People's mouths don't grow. And I have this fascination with motherfuckers be like half a ton, 700 pounds, and they have these little ass mouths. And it is like a pet peeve.
What they mouth look like? What they mouth look like?
And when fat people, like when I say fat, I mean like morbidly obese. My 600-pound life status. I ain't talking about if you just thick, you 200 pounds. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about you 600-700 pounds. When they do things dainty, it pisses me off. Like, please don't try to take I'm just having a little, cut that shit out. Putting that little piece of food in your mouth. Eat that shit like you shovel that shit like you be shoveling it when ain't nobody looking. They always do it. Like you said, that same food court, when they real big, I think they be conscious and they be looking around, they be trying to eat. You ain't ate shit dainty for the past 10 years. Ain't no way you been eating like that at your house. With your fork, using the toothpick. The fork don't even look the same in their hand. You're not using that shit at your house.
We gotta move on. This is not what I fucking.
All I'm saying is that's how I be. So go ahead. You the one to be feeling pity. I don't feel pity. I be looking to it.
But I thought it was.
You don't care what you thought it was. It was misdirected. That shit I thought it was compassion. That bitch probably eating her Chick-fil-A just fine, and you looking at her sad like a puppy.
People just be. I move up. People just be saying shit.
Yeah, they do.
What you got?
So, it may have been Brittany Rayner, actually. She just had a recent run-in on a podcast, and it was a mess. And it made me think, and this may, we may veer, and we'll just hang on to me. So she was talking about, like, her body, like, my body is this, and she could always get what she wants, and it made me think about, I guess, what are you leading with, right? Mm-hmm. And so I say that to say, as a person, and this is kind of going to spiral with my people be saying this shit, but what are you leading with? I had a conversation with a friend about it, like somebody who values their image heavily, right? Mm-hmm. And relies on it for money, living, whatever. Like, if your body is your thing, you not far-fetched off the spectrum from your body making you money. Those are the people that with the OnlyFans. Like, eventually, it wouldn't be far-fetched for you to fuck something for money, or have sex for money, or do something strange for money.
It's in the neighborhood. It's definitely
in the neighborhood. The same thing with people who are money, like, obsessed, where it's just money this. I'm gonna do anything for the bag and blah, 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 blah. It's not gonna be too far off the spectrum before you can be bought for something. You do something crazy as long as the bag Franklin. Is attached, like Franklin. And it came because people who are really, really principle and moral focused, you know what I mean? Like, when you lead with that, like, you almost can never lose. So, like, I thought about it because, Hollywood is like, oh, they're changing these people into this, or they're turning them into that. And it's just like, I think about all of our, like, big leaders like Denzel or Muhammad Ali, who are very principle-based people. So it don't matter what the bag look like. I don't believe in that. I don't support that. And you can't buy me into doing it. I don't give a damn. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because, like, that's where they're standing at. Same thing with, like, people who are in intelligence. Like, are you not gonna catch them doing no goofy, little Bravo or whatever, anything that's like mindless TV? I'm not here for that. You know what I mean? Like, because education is important to me. I'm not gonna look like a buffoon. The bag ain't that important to me. Yeah. And so I just thought about, like, we should, like, people just be saying shit. You know what I mean? Like, as far as, like, yeah, long as my this, or as long as my body doing this, or as long as my mouth, and it's just like, how far can it take you? You know what I mean? Like, where does
or how far are you willing to let it take you?
How far are you willing to let it take you? Yeah. It's like, what are you leading with? Like, what are you leading with? And I thought about it because I definitely want to do my best, because I'm also going to veer off here. I definitely want to be a principle and morality based person over everything as we venture into Hollywood and getting more into the industry. I want so badly, not to be able to be like, yeah, I'm not. I want to be able to turn down $1 million offers. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say, and I say want to because, I don't know how coonish I can get if it's $1 billion attached. I might stay sitting here, and it leads on to, again, back we talked about Chrisette Michele last episode. How far will it take you? During that time, she wasn't leading with her morals. She needed the bag. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I thought more about that. Like, dang.
Or she might have been leading with artistry. Like, I'm a musician. I'm being asked to render my talents, and the art must prevail over everything.
It's cool, but who can you share it with? You know what I mean? Because I'm a comedian, but to a degree. I'm not funny in a room full of racist people. It ain't shit funny in there for me. I don't got nothing to entertain you. I'm not gonna shuck and jive for you again. I might can coon it up for you a little bit if the proper bag is attached. I might can. Sambo, but no, like, in all seriousness, let's thought about that. And I wanted our folks, our family, to think about it. Like, what are you leading with?
Yeah, to me, just as you were talking, mm-hmm. The last point you made about being a person of, like, principles and morals and kind of leading that, I thought you were going to pivot with what you were going to say, but you didn't, because as you were saying, I'm thinking whatever you lead with, to me, that feels, and it's crazy that I'm internalizing it this way, but it feels like that's the jail you putting yourself in.
It is.
Because the moment, like, I am a person of morals and principles, but the way society acts now, I say, I'm a good person. Then people intentionally try to dig up history. Yeah. It's there of shit that I've done that you're like, well, that doesn't line up. If I say, like, same thing with body, right? Like, if I start to lead, and it's a similar thing that we were talking about, I see how it ties in with, like, makeup. If I become a person that can beat the fuck out my face, like, I'm talking about when I do it, But if I start to do that, and now that's what I'm getting known for, it's like almost right now, if I had fucked up on them timetable, right? If somebody asked me and they like, hey, Fire, hey, what's 3 times 9? And I'd be like,
Right.
oh shit, 24. They'd be like, no, 27, you dumb bitch. You know what I mean? It's like whatever you lead with. If I wear some busted ass sneakers, people be like, damn, Michelle, like what the fuck? That's what you get locked into. But at the same time, if it's who you are,
yeah,
then it shouldn't feel like a prison, because it's like it's consistent.
I agree. It's consistent, and you use the example of being a good person, like, oh, I'm a good person, but there's a certain thing or a certain boundary, you know, that you can cross between. I'm a human person, and I err on the side of caution to be good, right? As opposed to creating this box or this platform of being a good person and looking down your nose at people that don't align, right? That's when the dig up comes. Because if you just say, hey, I try to do the best that I can every day, obviously, of course, I fall short. Then the person digging the stuff up just looks like an asshole. It's like, yeah, well, they never said that they never did anything. It's like, I try to do the best I can. You know, somebody that's giving relationship advice should probably almost always go ahead and put out into the world if they cheated before. Right? If you're gonna be up on this platform, don't let us have to dig that up. Go ahead and say, hey, look, I've been in your shoes. I'm gonna give you the advice, but it's only because I've been
exactly. I can give you the advice because I've been through it.
I've been there. I did that. But when you coming off like, you know what, a man who can stray is not a man at all. And it's like, okay, nigga. Well, unfortunately, last month, looked like we found it. So I want, like you said, just be conscious of what you, like you said, what box are you placing yourself in? And also teaches people how to treat you. I don't think they approach, and again, I use him as an example. He's definitely not the highest height or anything, Denzel or Muhammad Ali or whatever, but they're just people who are strong in their characters. But I don't think Hollywood approached them with bullshit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I've been so strong on this for so long. Don't really give him none of that. You know what I mean? If it's a movie about cooning, maybe not
kind of having a reputation.
Yeah, a reputation for standing 10 toes, or for doing what you're doing. And again, somebody else that's like, look, we offer this person a big enough bag, he gonna take it. Let's go ahead and go to him. And they go for anything. Like, this is a bit of a taboo role. Who can we go for it? It's $700 million. Let's ask him to Denzel. Probably not. He probably not. That's not gonna do it. But this person might. So. Just, I don't know. People just be saying shit. I hear that a lot about if it's a bag attached to you, I'm not coming outside for less than the bag, but it's like, it's other shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or, baby, if the body not hitting, it's just like, relax. I just want our folk relax. What you leading with? So what you got?
So my people just be saying shit. It's like tied to, again, comments that I've heard recently and holding myself accountable. So as I'm talking to people about like this idea of, having a baby, and I'm showing people different donor options and stuff like that, there have been times where I've shown people a picture of like the donor that we're looking at, and somebody like, "Ooh, your baby gonna have good hair." Right? Like, "Ooh, look at his hair. Oh, your baby gonna have good hair." Or one of my very close friends gave birth to a baby boy, and I found myself, he has like grayish, bluish eyes, right? Darker complexion baby, grayish, bluish eyes. So it's like, oh my God. And how people are like fawning, right? Like when people are like, oh, what her son look like? And I show up here, I'm like, look at his eyes. And I have to be like, okay, why am I favoring this? So things like good hair, or, Black people in particular, but I think, in whiteness, favoring blue eyes is a thing, but especially with Black people, to the point where, color contacts are bad. For some people, they never left. Some people wrote it out too long, but even this infatuation with, like, people still say things like fair skin, right? Like, even every time I hear that, I think about like the connotation, right? Fair. It always takes me back to like the brown paper bag test, and, the combing your hair, like good hair, like the fact that that's still a part of people's conversation. And I think most of the people that I would associate myself with would be aware of the connotation, but still find themselves like almost fetishizing, right? These features. And again, holding myself accountable. When I look at my friend's son, I'm like, oh my gosh, those eyes. And then, some people are like, well, baby's eyes, they might change. And I'm like, but what if they don't? And it's like, again, whether we know it consciously or whether it's happening unconsciously, always being aware of the ways in which we talk about appearance and favor certain looks from people. And if you aren't aware of it, recognizing that that is a facet of white supremacy, it is a facet of being beholden to European standards of beauty. And it goes back to the filters that we talked about, right? Like most of the filters, like I literally was thinking about this. Most of the filters will widen your eyes, narrow the bridge to your nose, like slim down your cheekbones, which is giving you a very phenotypic look of being European,
yep.
Right? But then I thought, okay, playing devil's advocate in my own mind, there can't be a filter that plays up Black features, because then, of course, blackface would come in, right? And also, too, I wonder how many people would be adorning that filter to make themselves look better, right? I think a lot of times, and it reminded me of that scene of Lovecraft Country. I think white people want to adorn the temporariness of, being Black and looking like you got some ethnicity in your bloodstream, but nobody wants to do that. No one's doing that as a goal of making themselves look more attractive, because our features historically, traditionally still aren't seen as the attractive features, right? And again, just those filters that, not just the one that put the lashes on, but they open your eyes a little bit more and kind of give you that doughy-eyed kind of look. And again, it lightens the skin complexion. Even when people were doing that, we showed our AI filters. Those filters didn't look this complexion, right? Yeah. They all had like a yellow undertone, and it was just more leaning towards Eurocentric standards of beauty. And, when I say people just be saying shit, it's thinking about fair skin, good hair. And if you aren't aware, colorism and this concept of fair skin are so closely related, right? And this is when people talk about colorism, we have to think about it, and you can put it outside of the US context too, right? Like, not just Black people have a thing about light-skinned people, right? It is something that is represented in a lot of cultures, particularly cultures with working class people. Because the idea is that if you are poor, laboring class, working class, then you're working out in the sun and you would have a darker complexion. But
it's bad in India.
Say it again.
It's bad in India.
You're right. And then to show that you are of aristocracy, of affluence, of a higher caste, if we're talking about, countries like India, then you want to have more pale skin to look like you're not a laboring working class person. And we could tie that to the skin bleaching that we see in countries where there are higher working classes and things like that, and that stratification of social standing based on skin complexion. And I think the filters are tiptoeing on into that territory where people aren't, unless you look like Alex Weck or Winnie Harlow or whatever, and you have a distinct skin tone, like if you're so dark that it's like, now again, it's almost like a fetishizing, like, wow, that skin is so dark, like it's odd, it's strange, it's like an oddity. But for the most part, a lot of people are still favoring and leaning towards Eurocentric standards of beauty. But one caveat that we touched on earlier that just doesn't fit this would be the BBLs. Would be the people intentionally, and we get it, it's tied to wanting to have the aesthetic, but there was a time where it was cool to look like a coked out model that you could see her rib cage and stuff like that. And now you still got to be slim, but people want to be slim thick. Yeah. But in the face, look
lips too.
Right? Exactly. In the face, have a wider Eurocentric, phenotype, except for the lips. So the big lips, big boobs, big ass, lighter complexion, straight hair is the go-to. Yep. And if you're outside of that, it's like, all right. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yep. It is tricky. It's tricky because like, I have my best friend's profile works in, I don't even know what you would call it, the body augmentation industry. Right. And I was thinking, and it kind of ties into this a little bit, about the number of Black women that are getting work done. Mm-hmm. Do you know any Black women that have had like Botox, fat transfers, BBLs. You do?
Mm-hmm.
And I never thought growing up that would be a thing for us, like for Black girls. I never saw that as a thing. What do you think? Why?
Social media, access. Because remember, like lipo and fat trans, that used to be like only a celebrity thing. Like this is a $50,000 or $25,000. Like no working class person can go and spend $25,000. But again, the more popular something becomes, the more accessible it is. Which is why again, BBL, like you see the celebrities now, they're taking their lip fillers out, they're taking their BBLs out because that's over now. It's not special anymore once the working class has access to it. So now all you regular people, the people at the call center, they going to get BBLs. It's like, okay, I don't want to look like them bitches. So now we're back. We got our regular bodies. We do a little on Zipic. And still expensive, it's like $600, $700 or something like that a vial. And but we're back to our regular bodies. Maybe still enhanced a little bit. We still want, but like it always happens in waves and phases. And you know what's crazy? I thought about something. If we could right now, even like you said, ask our followers or just our friends, if we could say, hey y'all, let's build a baby. And we can give them categories and lists, of features like hair. You can choose this kind of hair. Nobody's picking the tight, peasy. Like you say, okay, I'm gonna pick a boy, girl, pick a boy. Just for this, y'all, for this sake, we gonna pick boy or girl. You pick a boy. Nobody's gonna go to the hair section and grab out them fucking little shot peas. Nobody's gonna get that. Nobody want their son to have that peasy ass. You remember a little boy that usually some shit in the little nap?
You make my flesh crawl.
Unbrushable shit, and nobody's gonna pick that.
Soon as he get hot, it just curls.
Soon as he get hot, you be like, God, the baddest one, nose right there. It was always him. No one's picking that.
You see the stereotypes that go along with it. You see
all I'm saying. Yeah, nobody's picking it. If you had the option, it's just like, ooh, you could pick like Asianish hair. Like, can it be loose, big curls for him? Sure. Even me personally, I am like, and it's so funny that you say it. I'm just like, dang. Like as far as like picking features, I really like redhead kids, Black ones though. You know what I mean? So like the perfect example in my mind that comes to mind is Emily and Fabulous's kids. I don't know where their red hair comes from.
What they look like. Let's look up these people.
Oh, look them up. Yeah, they're just redhead kids. Like they actually have, they're Black. I think Fabulous might be Dominican or something like that. But anyway, they have red hair. I think it's so cool. Am I just like, I'm going to go on this quest to make sure my kids have? Absolutely not. But again, if we're building babies, I'm probably not picking again.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? But just like you just said, if the skin is dark, it's got to be. And I say that all the time, like, ooh, girl, his skin was, I'm talking about cold black. This, that pretty black. Because what's ugly black? I say that out of my own mouth often. I'm talking about like, girl, that dark, pretty black. Because 4 shades above that might just be dirty black. I don't know. It ain't even. It ain't even and now it's a little splotchy. What else are you picking? If I'm picking the nose, am I gonna pick the whitest one? Probably not. Am I gonna pick a super narrow one? But again, that goes. It also, like you said, back to just European standards too, because I'm also probably not going to pick a Middle Eastern nose either. I'm probably not going to pick, you know what I mean?
Like or a Jewish nose, like
or Jewish nose, right? Like, but how many people are? How many people is like, oh, gotta have that? You know what I mean? Like, so because and why we're like that? It's just been ingrained. It's literally like an indoctrinated thing.
Yeah, because I would be remiss if I didn't mention the doll test that most of us are familiar with. It was replicated. It started they did it in the late 30s. They did it again in the 50s. And then Soledad O'Brien did it again in the early 2000s. And it was like, which doll is the pretty doll? And Black and white kids were choosing the white kid and then the white doll. Then they were like, which doll is bad? Which doll gets in trouble for doing bad things? And it was like the darkest one. Right. And then, we can see it play out in New Jack City. You know what I mean?
You can see it play out in Disney movies. All of the villains are dark. You watch Mulan, the dark, everybody's
I'm rewatching A Different World. Whitley is all pious and like, and Kim is like, I want to make out with boys, and she damn to get pregnant, her first season on the show. Like the dynamics are there. And a lot of time I get so frustrated with people when they won't take the time to question their preferences.
Yep.
And again, this may be coming up because essentially when we're shopping for a baby daddy, we're looking at those features. And there is a very dark man on there, but he's just unattractive, not because he's dark, he's just unattractive. I think my wife and I would have preferred to have a darker donor because it would be more reflective of our family.
For sure.
Because we don't want people to constantly think we with our niece or nephew, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. But, the features, like we did get shallow about height. That's not something as a woman I've ever had to think about because I'm just slightly above height average for a woman, but we want sons. And in terms of body appearance, I'm aware of the ways in which shorter men show up in the world. And that Tory Lanez,
and you know what? And you know what else? And then we can move on from it. But like you have to think about it's also indicative of like who plays it and like however hard you play into the stereotype, who it affects next. And I'll never forget that stage in which Lil Wayne was like vocally saying that, like I'm long hair, thick, red bone. I only date a red bone bitch. If she ain't red, she can miss me with it. And people are like, damn, bro, you have a daughter that's almost the same complexion as you. How do you think that makes her feel? And, he couldn't really process, like, I'm not gonna fuck my daughter. It's what I like, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, it shouldn't matter.
That Lil Wayne voice is crazy.
Yeah, I like it. That's what it is. Yeah, it don't matter. But anyway, and then there's another thing I think of, and this goes to a whole spiral, but there's a couple, love them. I don't know if I should say their names or not, but I actually flew their names. There's a couple who met doing an interview, right? Mm-hmm. Guy's tall, black man, tall, nice build, very rich. And he's doing the interview and the woman is Egyptian. So you can kind of just
I know who you're talking about. I don't know their name. I don't know who
I know their name. I know their names. I know him.
Oh, okay.
And so but anyway, he's doing that interview and she's Googling. So she asked him, mind you, she's Egyptian. So you can imagine what she looks like. She's fair skinned. She's got loose curly hair.
Fair skin.
Fair skin. I'm using that term purposely. And so she's like, if you meet she asked him a question, if you meet a woman, would she have to work or what would her life look like? So of course, there's a little something, a little banter going on, a little flirting. So he was like, yeah, she wouldn't have to. And so she's like, what? And he was like, yeah, my wife or my woman, like wouldn't have to unless that's something she wanted to do, her own hobbies, but I would never require her to work. And he said it with much conviction. And like, I mean that shit. And she was like swooning, she was just like, okay, like it's giving whatever. Wow. And I imagined if she were anything else, if she were dark, black, that same energy, one, would he have given that response? And two, if she would have responded the same exact way, like, oh, okay, like, and they ended up moving forward from the interview, getting married. But she would have been everything under the sun. She'd have been the black ass, gold digging. She looking for, you could tell she looking for the bag. She hungry for, I'm talking about the comments swooned over her. Oh, she deserves everything, bro. You got yourself a queen. Not knowing anything about this woman. You got yourself a queen. I wish I can take care of a lady like that. Them same niggas is somewhere under the comments calling bitches gold diggers. And it's because we have been trained and conditioned to think that the women that look like us don't deserve that shit.
Right.
Like, we've been paired with men, right? Like black men to like, no, if I'm working, you working. If I'm paying half, she paying half. She deserves to not have to lift a finger. She's so beautiful.
Put her on this pedestal. Yeah.
Put her. But if I get stuck with your black ass, it need to be in half. Because I'll be goddamn if I'm in here working my ass off and I got to provide for you. And it's just like, as if we don't deserve that same kind of energy. Like, I don't want you to ever. And granted, obviously, I hate that I have to say it, but if you're not a part of our family, you listen to the first time, obviously it's not all men. Obviously it's not all women. We get it. But there is a disproportionate amount of men who feel that way, who feel like, yo, if it's this, like, hell no. Even the expectation, like, I don't give a fuck what y'all say. Kim Kardashian makes her money, but like, these niggas is itching to take care of her. Like, period. That she deserved that. She ain't no Kim Kardashian. And this is what bitch do.
Ooh, Lord.
Again, if she's somebody else, it's just like, she got to work hard. My woman, we work so hard to split. And it's just like, damn. If that woman even utters, that dark woman even utters that I want to live a life, what they calling it? Soft life. I want to live a soft life. I want to pay for anything. Oh, you can almost taste the disdain in your mouth. You lazy, dirty bitch.
Now listen, it just came right to my mind.
Let's go.
I'm going to read this. and we all should recognize it, but it's tied exactly to what you are saying.
Okay.
And I quote, dialect and scene. That man over there says that women need to be helped into carriages, lifted over ditches, to have the best place everywhere. Nobody ever helps me into carriages over mud puddles or gives me the best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at my arm. I have plowed and planted and gathered into barns, and no man could head me. And ain't I a woman? I could work as much and eat as much as a man when I could get it, and I could bear the lash as well. And ain't I a woman? I have born 13 motherfucking children and seen most of them sold off into slavery. And when I cried out with my mother's grief, none but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a motherfucking woman? To me, the correlation is right there. Now, of course, those of you neo scholars like myself know that it's highly contested, and maybe Sojourner Truth never actually said any of those words. But the point stands that they were all these white women. And if we want to create a parallel, all of these lighter complexion women are sitting in a room talking about the rights that they deserve, because they're a woman and they deserve to be put on this pedestal. And a dark-skinned Black woman of age had to say, ain't nobody ever helped me with shit.
Yeah.
I'm a woman just like you.
No different. Like who the hell are you that just by your very appearance you deserve it? Like, gee, that's there's a wife. That's a woman worth marrying. Just because you can show up and not even utter a word, just be dainty in the space enough. And you can, and we see this among the athletes. You just float in the room, be pretty, have long, and that's what they want. And again, I brought that circle back to building children, because I think that I know actually that is how a lot of Black men think. I want to make sure that my children, if I could build a children, I got to pick her because I know they'll have softer hair. If I'm that cold, pretty Black that I speak of, let me go ahead and pick her so I can just kind of even the playing field. And it's crazy. And it's just like the more we think of it, like I see my mom, my sister, and I have my both of my parents are still married, and my daddy is of that mind that, you know, he very much women shouldn't pay bills, you know, your wife shouldn't have to pay bills, blah blah blah. And I'd be cracking up because you know, as my mom joke or something, like I'm going to find me a new man. I'd be like, girl, you better keep whatever that nigga doing.
Hey,
these niggas don't feel that way no more. And I mean, like, he feels that way by default. Like, he feels that way just as a man in this house. It would be a foolish thing for my wife to be paying bills.
Yeah.
Now, you know, what she need to be doing in return, I'm sure he got his very misogynistic laundry list. But that is just that's his thing. And I'd be cracking up because I'm like, girl, you think the niggas out here, outside now, you're going to be 50. She don't know a 50-50.
They're going to ask her what the fuck you bringing to the table.
Yeah, what you bringing? And granted, she got a table, but in her mind, my daddy is perfectly fine with her table being like, she got her little table over there. She talking about, I got the bigger table here. She come sit over here. Baby, they going to want your table. Hey, fold that shit out you got. Put it over here and find you some chairs to put at it.
You gotta get you some business.
Yeah, not to say that, like my mom still works. Like she works and she's not, you know, like kept or anything. Like it ain't that kind of situation, because I wish, you know, it didn't extend down to children either. So I will say that he just
not just hugging yourself.
Yeah, because he believed it for a wife, but you know, I can only get about $50 here and there. Anyway,
so yeah, it's just, you know, I just think what we're bringing to people's attention is just the idea of being conscientious. We don't need to repeat the wheel and repeat everything back. We're gonna move on to the next segment, and I'm gonna let what I have in the notes. Let's forget that. Okay. Let's talk about what you had. If it ain't one thing, it's another.
This, if it ain't one thing, it's another. It's so crazy because it really is tying in all together. A very sad one. A woman, and I don't know her name. It wasn't listed. Came forward on social media this week, and she's in a hospital, and her face is swollen almost twice the size because she's been hit in the face with a brick by a man who she denied, you know, in advance. Basically, we can give him her phone number or denied the advance. And it's so crazy because as if that wasn't polarizing enough, the comments spoke volumes. It was comments from people like, yep, that's why I almost always give my number away because you just never know how these niggas are gonna respond. These men are crazy. Ladies, just give your number. You can block it later. And to literally have that obligation to feel like if I don't accept him and his advance, because I can easily be like, I'm not interested. Like, thank you. I don't got to be nasty to you.
Yeah.
But I should be able, if you say, hey, beautiful, how you doing? Let me get your number. I can say, no, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for asking, but I'm okay right now. Or I'm seeing someone, or I'm just not interested, without you feeling like, oh, fine, Dean, bitch, blah, blah, blah. To the degree, she also went further to say that he picked the brick up before hitting her with it and threatened her. Like, I should beat your head off, blah, blah, blah. She said there were other men standing by just watching, and they watched him hit her with it. He beat her with it, and they watched. She said they did nothing. They just looked on. And I thought that was the most insane thing. And it speaks to, everybody likes to joke about it, or I see the dudes under the podcast like, oh, but the Black woman is quite literally the most unprotected thing on this earth. Because, girl, you can't even go to the store without having to deal and pacify these fools, these men that feel obligated to you. Like, I feel like I should be able, if I want to talk to you, I should be able to have you if I want. Who are you to tell me no? I'll beat your face.
It is, I don't think we've talked about this on the show, but I definitely had it as a point of discussion, because I think we talked about what happened to me in Jamaica and kind of how I felt unsafe. I think, did we talk about it? But it was like, when I saw that, number one, I was just heartbroken, but it is terrifying, because I would like to live in a world where I can tell my niece, girl, you don't have to entertain nobody. Simply be, like, if you're not interested, you don't have to be like, nigga, get your broke ass. But you can just say, like you said, I'm cool. But I think the same friend that I mentioned has a little boy now. I just remember a time, and I never gotten this kind of energy, but she had she was going to Howard at the time, and we would be on the phone, and the guys would be trying to talk to her, and then she might say, no, I'm good, or just keep walking. And like, there have been so many times which they was like, fuck you then, bitch. Or like, I think somebody might have tried to spit on her once. And it was just like, to me, just terrifying. And if there are any men that are listening to this podcast, what I want you all to hear is not an attempt from, I don't think either of us are trying to vilify, but just a perspective and of what it feels like to be a woman existing in this world, like, to the point that today I know what I'm shaped like, right? I know what my ass looks like. And I went to the gas station. I didn't plan on getting out of my car. I thought I could just use my little, the little NFC, the little thing, and tap it. The damn RFID was down. And so I had to go, and I had on pants that are tighter than that I like to wear in my particular neighborhood. So as I'm walking up, because you can see this thing from the front, this man is falling over himself to open the door. Now, this man got very few teeth in his mouth. He got on a very dirty tank, but he's falling over himself to open that door for me. And I know when this happens, because it happens so often men will run to do something like that for me to catch a very obvious glimpse at my ass, like to scare me away. That makes me feel like a piece of meat. And so I'm like going in the store and I'm frustrated. I'm trying to be in and out. And as I'm coming out, he was like, hey, Miss Lady. And I'm like, if I don't turn around, what's going to happen? Is he getting closer to me? Should I just turn around? But I know I don't have the energy to entertain this. And I kept going. But just the idea that men sometimes in certain spaces, especially if I'm by myself, men can be terrifying. And I don't like to look at men that way, because some of my closest friends are men, my brother, whatever. But I haven't always been protected by men, and just like she wasn't. Now, I haven't had anything heinous like that happen, but there have been times where I'm like, is somebody gonna do something? But like you said, the comments and the responses and then that video that people have pulled of her saying that Black men only protect what they possess, and they're like, and you the same one asking for our protection. How do you not see that you're proving her point? Something happened in her life that made her make that video or to think that way. And now this is another validating event for her. And it's like, y'all gonna say she wrong? Because this is just saying that she was right about that.
And quite literally, all that has to be said by any other man, I imagine, is that I hate that nobody was there to protect you, sis.
Yeah.
I hate that you had to go all of that. These bitches that we not obligated to. It's just like, guess not. And that was proof. Nobody did. She actually had onlookers to prove that nobody was obligated to protect her. And again, I try to be understanding to a degree of Black men having to be observant to a degree, because like it may have resulted in, like, we're just assuming that if you're a Black man standing by, you can beat anybody. And it's just like, I might have to whoop this nigga ass. Like, if he's willing to hit her with a brick, I'm gonna have to kill this man.
Yeah.
And so I understand that there's some vital decisions that have to be made during that time too. But sometimes even just you know what I mean? Like it could be helpful, or like, bro, we gotta, I don't know, just some. I feel like I would have said something if I was there, like, hey, I keep that shit on me though. I ain't gonna hold you. I do for instances like that, because I'm not that kind of, the kind of woman that feels like I'll square up with any nigga. I cannot. If you fuck around with me, because I'm going to say no, I'm the nicest person ever. You can ask anybody. But sir, pull up on me, walk up on me with too much air in your chest, I'm gonna deflate that bitch with a hole so big.
It's over.
Your mama gonna hula hoop with your ass.
Yeah, it's wild. And there have been times where I've given my phone number away, or a phone number, but then guys started calling right then.
Like, how rude. Take the number she gave you, big dog. Like, please, just real quick, disclaimer, stop doing that. Stop doing that. If she wants you to have, accept the number that she gave you. Calling her, right? Let me call you right now, in the club, anywhere, even if she's accepted.
If you have doubts that I gave you my real number, then you just move forward.
Just move forward. Going. It's the corniest shit. I'm gonna call you right now, sweetheart. Like, what if I did give you the wrong number? What you gonna do? Either cuss me out?
You be like, oh man, you gonna do me like that?
Okay, it ain't the real. And at this point, if I give you the right number now, you please know that it's forced.
Right.
Like, I'm doing it because you just called, and now it's embarrassing, and I might be scared that you're gonna punch me in the face. So sure, you can have my number. If I want you to have my number, I promise you, before you even walked up, you had it. Before you even walked up.
I used to, and one of the trainings that I do is on bystander intervention, right? And what bystanders can do. And I always mention this study that looked at women in like date rape, catcalling situations. And so they had like a white woman that had on a very short skirt. It was at a bar, and the scenario is that she's, she gets too drunk, and then there's like a guy trying to pull on her and, basically trying to like assault her and grope her or whatever. When that happens to a white woman, the study, and this is by, I think it was Delaney in 2004, if I'm not right, just look it up. But in that study, when that happens to a white woman, white women jump in to intervene, white men jump in to intervene, Black women jump in to intervene, Black men jump in to intervene. When that happens to a Black woman, the group that more readily and most frequently intervenes are Black women.
Black women, yep.
The other groups, white women ignore, Black men ignore, white men certainly ignore. The only people that jump in to defend Black women in that situation are other Black women, right? And what terrifies me is when I think about that man who hit that woman upside the head with the brick. He went home to a sister. He called a mother. He might be raising a daughter, right? Like he has a female supervisor. Like, that man is existing among us. There are men among us who will do some shit like that, go home, text his baby mama, I love you, here's some money, hug his baby girl, and not have a connection between the heinous act of violence that he committed and who he is to the Black women in his life. Like, that's mind-blowing to me.
I think you can even go as far as to put, if the same exact thing happened to a Black woman in his life, he's not making that connection. He's not drawing that line. If his sister called and was just like, oh, where are you? Please come get me. A nigga just punched me in the face. Wow, what happened? I don't know. He asked me for my phone number. I didn't give it to him. He's not going to process like, damn, I just threw a break. He going to be, I'm on my way to fuck that nigga.
Yeah.
You just did it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And I hate it. And I even just said it. Like, I hate that she had those onlookers. I most certainly would have said something, did something, tried to be like, girl,
at the very least, you can walk her to her car. Like,
walk her to her car.
Like, this is something I used to have to tell people. Intervention doesn't look like you going and confronting the person. Most often is to support the person that was being assaulted, harassed.
And it looks like I often wonder too, and this is not to like, this is just me and my curiosity, because there is no, we only have her recall of the situation. Just like, I hate that there was even banter. Like, don't even stand there to let him argue with him about why you can't have your number. Just get in your car and go. I don't fuck around. You know what I mean? Like, baby, if I'm at a cat, I'm like, that cat video that's been going around, that cat meme pulling up, I'll pull up to the pump. It's too many niggas out here. I'll go get gas somewhere else.
Leaving. Yep.
I'm leaving.
Yep.
And it's sad.
Like, a lot of people that are younger than us don't have that. They be like, I should be able to get gas wherever I want to. I should be able to. But it's like, that reminds me of the same Black men who be like, the police just can't talk to me any kind of way. I am a human being. And it's like, I hear you with the moral should, but we're not there. And unfortunately, you fuck around, you find out. And it's fucked up. You know what I mean? But anyway. Yeah, if it ain't one thing, it's a motherfucking another.
Yeah, it's really not. And it's so funny because I've had scenarios where I'm obviously apprehensive, and there's like Black men around, and just because I could this is just a proof and a testament that obviously they're not all the same. I've had, trying to keep my head on a swivel and keep it cool, and then have one of them, a guy say, girl, get going in there. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with you. Go get your shit and come on out of the store. That's fine. I never said nobody was. Girl, go ahead. Ain't nobody gonna bother with you. You is cute though. Okay. Thank you. I don't want to get my number.
Oh gosh. Jeez.
But yeah, if it ain't one thing, it's another. Let's keep that thing rolling. What you got for the big facto?
Just a couple. It's kind of tying in everything that we would have talked about for the other parts of the episode. But there are, like, I was trying to get like studies, like data on how many Black women are engaging in like body augmentation of any kind. But what we do know is that there are more Black women who are letting go of that Black don't crack and saying, nope, I want Botox. Nope, I want this. And I think it is tied to the fact that, and it may not be all Black women, it's the Black women for sure in my socioeconomic sphere, which means at this point, a lot of my friends are at the 100K and better. You're right, 160, 175K or better. And as you enter in those spaces, then you have a certain amount of disposable income to say, yeah, I could work out. I am working out. I'm going to work out to lose these 15 pounds so that I can go have this procedure. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think the accessibility, listen, Afterpay, Klarna payment plans have increased accessibility for everybody. Right. But then also it is the idea of exposure in social media. So if I am competing in a dating field, let's just talk about the women that are single. If I'm competing in the field of dating with women or with men, like I'm going after men that see the Jada Waitas, they see the Lori Harveys on social media. And then also I live in a city where there are lots of Black people, so they're seeing those type of women in person, then I can't turn into the 43-year-old woman that works at the call center because I'm trying to still be, if I'm married, I'm trying to still be attractive for my husband and to maintain my own social capital. And so now that I'm more, the study says, and I want to find it, the more that we are exposed to these images, right, the closer our proximity to people that have gotten body augmentation or want it or can afford it and are doing things like that, the closer and the more that you are exposed to those images, the more you start to want it yourself, right?
With anything though.
Say it again. Exactly. With anything, right? Because if I don't have that level of exposure, I don't even know to want it. It's not even a part of my conscious awareness. And so, but when I'm exposed to it, like I don't have that same tug because I don't follow those crowds. I'm not engaging with women that do. I don't watch those shows on TV. I don't follow those people on social media. It's outside of my sphere of influence. Right. So it's like more and more Black women are doing those things, getting facial balancing, getting BBLs, getting Botox and all of that stuff because there's increased exposure. The other part, and I kind of have to stair step this, and I put it in my notes, is that, and this is tied to that, as our economic status improves, our social network grows, right? And then as you start to get more and more money, you enter spaces.
Yep.
And those spaces aren't becoming increasingly more Black, right? You're not seeing, oh, as I get higher in this socioeconomic ladder, I'm going around more Black people. No, you're going into spaces that are more and more predominantly white. And even if you aren't consciously aware of it, that proximity to whiteness gives you some social capital, gives you some privilege. Like, just based off, this is all academic language for, and when he get on, he leave your ass for a white girl, right? The higher your social influence, the more you start to try to adapt these things of privilege, which are still an approximation to whiteness, right? So it's like, another example is, as people make more and more money, they get more and more influence, they don't start to lean into their more traditional Black ways. People start to talk different. They start to eat different foods. They want to drive a different car, right? And so it's like
keys.
Exactly. You start to unlock different levels of privilege, and that same thing comes in with how we look, how you dress, the things you start to do with your hair. I remember when I locked my hair before I locked my hair and I was just growing my hair out, I was the only woman in the administrative building at my job. So at a certain level that had natural hair, right? I was having a conversation with the dean at the time of the School of Dentistry, and dentistry is pervasively white. And she felt the need to straighten her hair, like this is in the 90s and 80s, to straighten her hair and to get a perm so that she can fit in, right? She was the only Black woman in her class of dentistry at the time. And she was saying that she had a student who was doing a clinical experience in a dentist office, all white people, and they kept making comments about how her hair was wild and unruly. And that Black student came to this Black dean and was like, do you think I should straighten my hair? I don't want to. And the dean can say, I can tell you, I did it and I regret it. I wish I had not done it. I wish I had stayed true to who I am. But again, you enter into these white spaces, there's a conformity that happens. You may not be thinking about it, but it's on you. And then going into the filters, last big fact, Dove did a study on it. And then there was another study on it that says that by the age of 20, 90% of young women have reported using filters and editing their photos. That's Psychology Today. Dove said 80% of girls have downloaded and used the filters on apps like Instagram by the age of 13. And just the last thing, just to round this out, if y'all have not watched Social Dilemma, I think it was on Netflix or HBO, but they talked about just, you can see the advent of social media and where kids could get on it, and the spike in suicide attempts, suicidal ideation, eating disorders, and body dysmorphia in teenage girls. There's a direct correlation. So I was so happy that my niece, who listens to this podcast, was not allowed to have social media until the last 2 years, right? And she had to work to prove that she could handle it, because whether she knows it or not, that social comparison will fuck you up.
It's a lot for a grown person. Imagine manipulating the mind of a child.
Other day, not even with body appearance. I had the thought the other day, which is where I am in life, is I would be happier, more proud of myself with what I have achieved in this life if I didn't have social media to compare. I'm thinking, I ain't made nobody's 40 under 40. I got 3.
And it ain't even
I'm doing a lot. Right. But it's like, I would be so much happier with myself if I put blinders on and looked at what I have achieved in my life. I would be so much more proud of myself if I wasn't looking to my left and right. But every day I get on this app and I scroll and I'm like, man, if I had kept going with this podcast, man, if I had not gone to school to get this doctorate, I would have this. Look at what she doing. They done bought a house. She just got a new car, da, 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 da. I would be so much happier if I didn't have that frame of comparison. And so I just want everybody to think about it.
It's crazy because, we see those little sayings and memes all the time that, be grateful, or, because you prayed for what you are, right now. At some point, wherever you are right now, you prayed, and all that shit, everything that you're saying is correct. Like, it's just, it's inevitable. They tell you that if you want to be rich, hang around rich people. If you want to, whatever you're looking and aiming to do, submerge yourself in that. And it's so crazy because, you're not going to see rarely. I hate to use generalize and use never, but it's rare you're going to find a person struggling with homelessness or just, you got 10 kids, you're on food stamps, being vegan. It's expensive to be vegan. We eat McDonald's. That money got to stretch, right? Like healthy eating is even associated with a higher status. Like you can't eat healthy if you're poor. Like you can't. You got to eat McDonald's. You got to get the discount meat. You got to get the meat in the grocery store that's already seasoned.
It's like I shop at Trader Joe's. I shop
like,
at Whole Foods.
I juiced this morning. But you got fruit and you turning it into juice. Yeah. Every apple I got in this house need to fill somebody up. I can't juice it, baby.
I told you this, the number one way, and I can't remember who told me this, the easy way to tell somebody's socioeconomic status is to look at the snacks they eat.
Yeah.
To look at the snacks they eat. And once I learned that, I was at a job, class migrant, first job in this socioeconomic status, and I'm bringing in, maybe like pineapples in a cup. I might have a little, some chips or something like that. Might have myself a little pineapple Fanta. Then I'm looking around me and they got that nectar juice, right? The red goddess and the green goddess, and they up there dipping their carrots and hummus and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, what the fuck? They eating edamame and shit like that. And I'm like,
that's
man,
how
for my snack, I motherfucking thought I had some Nutella sticks out of the day.
I just made a funny post, right? Just like, obviously my regular comedic post, and I was talking about old school Little Debbie cakes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I saw it on your story.
If you don't know how many people, mind you, I'm talking about like what's y'all favorite snack? Which Little Debbie cake was super? Mm-hmm. We just joking. Do you know how many people came in my comments trying to let me know, like, since you above this now, I can't believe you still eating this shit.
You see?
Like, oh my God, this. If you just want to promote diabetes, just say. I goddamn one. No, I'm not eating it still. But it's the how far y'all got to slide down. Y'all know you can't possibly. I'll be there. Me, one person I even replied to, I was like, it's so crazy to process that you've never had a Little Debbie cake. And she was like, oh, well, no, I didn't say no. Oh, okay, because that's what the fuck I'm talking about on here. So get your damn ass off my page. Talking about then you know what I mean. I'm gonna go to your profile, bitch. You eating something, but I left it alone.
Okay.
All right. I left it alone. She came for me, so I had to, clap back a little bit. But yeah,
like happened to me. If I remember one time, I think I was on Instagram, I was on FaceTime with somebody, and I was making some motherfucking Kool-Aid, and they was like, "You drink Kool-Aid?"
Oh, I probably would have gave you the same energy. Kool-Aid.
You see what I'm saying?
I made Kool-Aid and all of them. Are you using white sugar for that?
You red with the orange. You put a little lemon juice in there. You got yourself.
You making grown-up Kool-Aid now, not you fresh with. I put 3 inches of fresh juice at the bottom of mine.
Look how I got to qualify. No, it's just sugar and dye.
No, it's just it's different because I do lemons with mine. Healthy it up a bit, but you still pouring 6 inches of sugar at the bottom of the lemon. I make a simple syrup with it. It's different.
After the second day, you got to add some more water, but it's like the gift that keep on giving. You see,
I have quite literally. I haven't made Kool-Aid.
Not quite literally. This is how you sound like me with the boosters. Literally, I have.
My God, quite literally, Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid, probably maybe.
This episode is gonna be called Kool-Aid and Little Debbie Cakes.
Woo!
But anyway, so that's just my big fact. Something to just be conscientious of. And last thing, I think we are running a little long, but it's okay. Last thing, we're gonna introduce this new segment. You gonna tell them about it?
Yes. We got a new segment. Y'all write us, message us, DM us, however you want to get in contact with us. And it's ask your big cuz. Ask your cousins. Okay, we family. Ask your cousins. It can be anonymous. If you do write in and put your name, we will not share your name. It started as
that. Am I the asshole so much?
Yeah, we started with the am I asshole. We read like other people's stuff, and then people just wrote us randomly, like, hey, I know y'all did this last time, but I got
some advice. Okay, ask your big cuz.
Ask your folks. So I got one for us, and somebody wrote in, and I'm gonna read it. Hi, cousins. First of all, let me say I love the show. Thank you so much for opening this segment. So my girl is probably the sweetest, most kind woman you could meet. Overall, personality-wise, I have no complaints. However, we are on 2 totally opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to hygiene. I shower daily. and come from a home that was raised under the guise that cleanliness is next to godliness. She, however, only bathes maybe once or twice a week, and she isn't big on cleaning. It could be a culture thing, but I don't know if I can survive it. I promise I love her very much, but I'm just in between a rock and a hard place. Should I say something? Should I learn to live with it? Help. Baby, I don't even want to see it. Wait. You go first.
Because you know how
I'm gonna let you, because you know I have to say this. Y'all, when y'all watch here, if you watching on YouTube, this one I get judgy. You go ahead.
How long they been together?
He didn't say. He didn't say, but enough to know that he likes her personality. It says my girl, so it's not my wife or my
What I'm
fiance.
gonna say is that he should leave that relationship. He should leave that relationship. He should leave that girl and her habits just as she is. Now, some might say, talk to her about it and see what she's willing to do. But what changed my life is when Iyanla said, I don't get to tell you what to do and how to behave and how to talk to me. What I get to do is observe what you do and say, I don't want no parts. And what I think is that if these people are in our age range, if this person is anything over, unless this is my niece writing, but you said this man said he got a girl, unless they are teenagers and they still need to be coached and molded into cleanliness. Mm-hmm. You're not telling me that I'm observing that my girl who is 30 some years old don't like when he said I bathe daily. My first thing, that's where I knew it was going wrong. Because if he said, I take 2 baths a day, she only bathed once, you know, I'd be like, oh, you know, potato. But he said, I bathe daily. The other side of that is she must not. And once or twice a week in the summer, it's been the hottest summer that it's ever been. And she don't keep a clean home. And I'm not, this isn't a function of sexism, because I will tell you, I would have the same stance that I have right now if there was a woman saying, my husband, boyfriend, my dude, on the bay, get out of there. Leave. Because they're not going to change it. I'm not making a moral judgment about that person. But what I'm saying is, you are a clean person. This person don't see cleanliness the same way. And you're going to be dealing with that forever. And so I say, you get the fuck up out of there and leave her and her must, because women got folds and crevices. And it's been hot. You can't be nasty in the body and you don't, don't have good cleanliness in your home. I don't like it.
This woman doesn't keep a clean home, but more importantly, she does not keep a clean ass.
Clean pussy either.
And none of it. She is a walking rot box to the degree. Now, I've always been, and this could be again my
draws, because she got
Southern black. Listen, it's something, she peels them draws off. You hear me? And because she dirty, she probably leave them where they at. And it shouldn't be this way. We should all be the same. We should all be able to, be ourselves and cozy. But if a man got to tell you nasty, because men are nasty. If a man got to say, I got concerns about your hygiene, baby, he needs to leave her alone. She don't care about much. I don't know what their sex life is like. That's a wild room. You hear me? That room is rock. Then bend my knee. Yeah, time to beat. Drop, boom, don't she phone it up. It's just
it's what the phone waves doing out here.
It's just, it also he added in on the end that it could be a culture thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and presume that she's white. We don't associate culture.
I'm so biased. Another culture was about to come.
I know it was. But let me tell you why another culture was about to come to your mind.
I'm not talking about it.
It's okay. I'm going to talk about it, because culture and whiteness aren't associated. White people don't have culture. They just are. You know what I mean? Like, they just adopt. So when you hear culture, you hear that other thing. And I know where you're going with it. And we respect all of our brown people. And so we're going to leave it there. But I know it was a little spicy. You thought, ooh, she got a little spice on it too, don't it? I know what you thought. I can read your mind, babe. Yeah. I know what it is. You thought it might have been a little spicy-ish. But no. I think that he is probably trying to just provide us some context. I think so, because I don't know, once a week ass washing is just wild. Other cultures that you may be thinking of, just foods that they eat sometimes can just be very porous, and it just can be lasting. Watching this are the only people I know that have been very openly on Beyonce and Blue Ivy's internet talking about why. Like, even in the shower, I mean, I just let the water run down. I just wash my hair, and when my hair's washing, my body's washed. The shampoo gets in my ass, and it's just, those are the only people that I've seen, and he needs to leave her. And I hope, I can tell that he hasn't brought her home.
Yeah.
Yet. He ain't brought her home yet.
You gotta release yourself from that.
Yeah,
you gotta release yourself.
You don't gotta force it. So two things can be true at once. She can still be nice, because he made it a point to say she's nice, she's sweet. That's fine. She's nasty
in a week.
She's nasty.
And this woman is expecting oral sex or sex of any kind on her body, and she only bathing twice out of 7 days.
She's sweet, and she's also sour. Leave her. That's my advice to you, Cuzzo.
I too say, get up out of there. Get up out of there. I mean, I guess if you want, depending on the length of the relationship, because you done tolerated this for some time, but if you want, have a conversation. But as I do coach people on how to have these conversations, I will encourage you to do something I would not have the ability to do, and that is to approach this with a disposition, a posture of curiosity, of wanting to genuinely learn and understand.
Why you wash your ass once a week?
Yeah, what is
curious? Do you like the feel? Like, you hate clean?
I noticed one thing that I noticed is that, growing up in my family, it was customary to.
She noticed it too. She a funky nasty hoe. You ain't got to do all that.
If I'm saying this, your girl, if they've been together 5 years, I don't know why he got a problem with it now. Probably because it's been hot as summer.
That's why I said go. No, go. Because again, this isn't a situation of I've been with her 10 years and this is starting. Because then we can introduce some depression. Something may be happening. I've known her to be clean historically, inherently, and now it's getting dirty. That's different. You talking about, I noticed our hygiene, is opposite. Sir, this is something that you coming up with that you trying to see if you can tolerate it. Now you still in the balance of weighing things. You early. Get your ass out of there.
Get up out of there.
You trying to give him a conversation that you had with somebody you deep in with. Get out of there, sir.
You're right.
Your kids gonna be nasty. They're gonna be sticky, germy ass kids. Wash your hands of it. It's other nice girls.
Be nasty.
Nasty house. Carpet look like outside driveway. Don't just leave it. All right. Woo. That's it. That's all I got. I appreciate y'all rocking with us, hanging with us. We had a long one today, but I loved it.
Yeah. It's good. I think this was good. It's one of my favorite episodes. I can see it right
now. All right. I like that.
So we're just growing and getting better. We already told y'all where to find us. Find us there. Be on the lookout for the Discord. And fuck with us. Let us know what you think. Write a review, send an email, comment on YouTube.
Definitely. I like this. I like this new segment. Please DM us, because y'all don't really be in the email. DM us your concern, your questions, what you want us to answer. Don't always got to be certain negative. Be about your folks, be about your friend, be about whatever it is. DM us. We got the answer, Sway. Between the two of us, we'll get you something.
Cuffing season coming up. So if you need some relationship advice, some dating advice.
Get cold. We got the best dating advice out there. Promise.
Yeah, we both done did both.
I'm in there. I'm in there through and through. I'm good at it too. You hear me? I know what you need.
If you think your person that you're talking to might be a fuck boy or a fuck girl, I can help out. I've been labeled that a time or two. And so I
didn't think you was going there with it. I've known a few.
For listening.
I appreciate y'all. Love.
I thought you were gonna say love, peace, and soul, but
I know I avoid it every time, just so copyrights.